the demo was done probably 4 or 5 years ago at least. And this, I didn't have time to get to it this time, so I thought I'd show you what I had done back then. I don't know if anybody's noticed sometimes when you turn to the bowl how they real easily create a little stem on it. So I just left the stem on the side there with the ring top at the end and then turn some rings for it. But the diamond wood really plays with, you know, the shape and stuff you get out of the lines with the bowl on by. So I thought those were kind of fun. This one works really nice for a stand. So not that the ticket, it's not this year's challenge, but I did want you to see some of the kind of forms that you can get out of that bias turning.
Well, I did several of these, very limited success. By the way, he's my man. And it goes. So I actually did 3 of these. One of them particularly blew up. This was my first attempt, and one of them did chip off. And that's the big struggle I had, was getting the cuts without it chipping off. So this is ash. Then I did a maple one, had a little more success. And I did get a piece cracked. I put a little epoxy in there and held up for the rest of the working. But it was a fun thing to do. I got it up for it a few times, but it was a learning experience. If you put your bowl on the blue masking tape, shot them over. Totally forgot.
So yeah, Jack Carson did a demo 5 years ago, I guess, Chris. At least 5. Yeah. And so I thought I'd do it again. I will tell you that this piece is the hardest piece I've ever turned in my life. And the reason is that it's turned out of cedar. It's very soft wood. So the challenge for me was to keep all the corners, obviously, keep all the everything from chipping off. The other thing I wanted to mention is this is a 2-in-1. Okay, so this is sculpture or it's a nut hole. So, and I just happen to use a vacuum chuck on both sides. So once I got it vacuumed, I could part very easy. And that's it.
But I have to tell a little bit here. I went down here after watching the demonstration last month. I went down to Woodcraft and I saw a nice big chunk of wood there, 235 on. And I was like, well, that's too much for something. I have no idea what to do with it. So I went to Lowe's and I got some redwood. About 4-inch board that was 1x8. Then I glued them all together and turned it on the bias. Yeah. Last month, if you remember, the bottom of the bowl had weights. And I don't know why it doesn't, but it doesn't. That's what it started out to be. And then I told my wife, I said, you know, I'm really not happy. This thing isn't turning out the way I like. And long story short, I ended up making the bowl and I'm pretty pleased with it. So thank you very much. All right. You guys got a 33% chance of winning here. They were trying to do the challenge while all you guys were out there in the parking lot to get about that reduced the odds. Our winner is 563. 563. Who was number 563? All right.
Tell your wife. Okay. You get free stickers to go with it. Wow. We got a couple of $3 gift certificates to go out to club. And thank you all for your participation there. So let me not ruin my instructions for Rob. When you bring your, we're going to go right into our show and tell table, and when you bring your part piece up, if you put it right here on the blue tape, then the camera catches it wet, right? All right. So anybody's got a piece up there on the show and tell table, let's keep it on there and tell us about it.
Okay, I got a chance to get a piece of quarter sawn white oak from Mike Mahoney's, and I cut a platter out of it, and I thought it turned out pretty neat. It's, you can see on the center where you cut through the rays, it leaves the grain, and the little brown splash through the middle of it wasn't there until I put the oil on it. Showed up, so I thought it turned out fairly nice. Yeah, the wood came from Mahoney, yeah. Hollow forms, this form out of walnut. When I began it, I intended to pierce it, so I couldn't. But when I got to this one, I thought that's all it pierced, but it is very light. This one, I was trying to answer the question which came first, the egg or the bird out. It's very hard to follow something inside. That's the part of the top when I check the line.
I imagine a few of you in the shop saw pieces of hot celery Don had brought in. Yeah. On the birthday. So I started with this piece, rough turned it, and as I was rough turning it, the whole U-shaped end flew off, and then there was another half of the shape that flew off. But it was so pretty. There was so much color in it that I didn't want to give up on it. So I took it home, and I think, you know, it was all of an inch thick at that point. So I just smeared the wood glue on and clamped those things back into space and put a bar across the two tips and pushed down as much as I could, sprayed a lot, and then it came back after that it dried and just doused it the ends with CA because I could see ring chain that was potentially what would still happen. Approached it pretty gently on the second turning, had very little, because of how much it had changed shape, had very little room. The thickness is established because that's about as thick as I keep it and actually be turning everything. But so I kind of messed up this year and put a lot of my emphasis on Mother's Day on my mother, and then my wife looked at me and was, well, what are you getting for Mother's Day? If I got you this bowl, there you go. So it works out perfect. when I was first introduced to wood turning, the first thing the gentleman helped me do, I had a piece of, aspen that I brought back from an elk trip out in Colorado. And it had been sitting in the storage for, I don't know, 2-3 years. Anyway, we made, coffee mugs out of it. So aspen was the deal, and then I started making them out of cedar, and I go, these are really beautiful. And then I got some black walnut, and this is my absolute favorite one. If you look at the grain, it's almost a tiger stripe.
Oh my.
I don't know if you can see that. So I've got 2 of them like this out of the same piece of wood. The other one is like half of it has a tiger stripe and what I call a tiger stripe on it. But it's been a real conversation starter as I'm sitting on the shelf. So works great for hot, cold, whatever. I used Rubio finish on it, and then I brought it in and buffed it really good. So the water beads off it. Obviously, you don't put it in the dishwasher or anything, but it stays very nice like this. I love it like this. Some people don't. It's a little slippery. But I had one guy say, no, I offered to refinish the one I made for him. He just had the Rubio, but it wasn't buffed. He goes, no, I don't want it buffed. I need a little more grip on it. So that's fine. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Where do you get the film? Sorry? Where do you get the film? I get the inserts from Rockers. They're anywhere from $12 to $15 if you find them on sale or what they have. I found them to be really helpful. I've made, I don't know, somewhere between 40 and 50 pieces. And sometimes that white, the O-ring will flip or come off or it doesn't stand real good. They will stand behind it, they'll replace it. So, Rockford. Yeah,
Woodcraft costume too.
do they?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's where I was told to get them and send the follow instructions. Not just one. All right.
The tiger stripe. Yeah, that was nice. You know, the outside of them.
Well, yeah. The long story short, this guy had an American sister, and they, you know, the one had a cake, I don't know why, but, you know, and then the one had cupcakes, and so we kind of, the idea was off around and starting to woodturn some projects. You know, so he ended up doing this guy, I don't want to talk about that, but these 2 ended up being kind of a joint project. And talk a little bit about the cupcakes first. So, these are kind of fun. I never built anything like this. Had kind of an idea in my head. YouTube or 2 that had built something similar, but it's a little bit brand new. The platters are black walnut from my childhood home, his wife's childhood home. And then these pieces are from the Gill, bottom piece came with Paul, this guy I bought, and then I originally turned these pieces, but then my sister lovingly informed me that the piece was lost, and speedily returned it, but it worked out. It was fun. These guys are finished with the beeswax and mineral oil and sugar in it, and then topped off with some mineral oil with weather. And it's fun because if you want to store them, the untwist all this is on very lot. So yeah, the tops are big separated inserts, so you know bottle stopper big and that top, so that way kind of funnel block. But yeah, these guys are just hold in the middle. I just run through these actually the further inserts. Kind of a pain to get the middle one on because you have to rotate for it. The other ones are pretty easier. But yeah, that's cupcake stand. So cupcake stand.
Sure. So I don't do screws. I don't do metal anything. Basically, wood and glue. That's all I got. So I just did a simple board. This was from our East Lake Shade that, from his color, and the black woman on the bottom, and she got turned into, the base as well as, two different bowls, which I gave to. So, turned out to be really cool. And this was my first official project. So.
And not down here were two cupcake or two cake cutter things we did, and then we finished this and the week before the wedding, we're like, oh, well, what else can we do? So then we made 73 pens of sweating papers.
Oh, a lot. Wow.
So that was it.
It's been fun watching these students out there, I just think, from really not knowing anything to do. Turning that in really about six months. But it's that. So, you're an inspiration to all of us. You're much accomplished. Gannon walked in, the first time I met Gannon, we were talking, he said, God, when you learn how to turn so that I could make kickstand for my wedding. So, you know, I'm thinking he's thinking 5 years down the line. Which when he tells me, yeah, my wedding, you know, a couple months. Oh, okay. And on the day that he didn't do it, you do a great job. So good job, guys. It's fun being in there, participating. So thank you. I guess that gets us to it at the end. I'm a little long, but Elizabeth isn't here tonight, so I don't have to worry about getting turned home. But appreciate all of you coming. We'd love to see all of you there Saturday at Shawnee Park for picnic if you're available. Don't forget to bring a drink. I'll have a couple extras. I don't would throw it if somebody like that. Need that, and you know, we ask you to bring a side or a dessert. And I know Mike always comes up with a real fancy dessert and tries to tell us how he struggled with it and pulls off the high D label. So, it's all homemade either. So, but it's good time, good conversation. Love to see everybody there. And that's Saturday. We'll start showing up usually around 10 a.m. We'll probably start getting the coals going by 11:30. Don't show up at 12, show up at 11:30 because once those goals start, we start and the food starts going. So show up a little bit earlier than 12 and plan on joining us there. And otherwise, I will hopefully see you all next month, July meeting, and we'll be Jim's going to show us how to hand carve a basket we look into the bowl. I think it's really cool. So, yeah. You'll have handout. All right. Paul?
Did the shop close Saturday morning?
The shop will be closed Saturday for the picnic, so you have no excuse not to be in there. All right. Well, thank you. If we can get a little help getting the chairs back up,
I don't know. Yeah.
Still a couple more bowls. Rob?